Hey guys, welcome to With Love Aquatic Hatchery. My name is Casey. Are you ready for your update on the babies today? Here we go. There they go. Whole bunch of them all just swimming around. See them? See, I think they're all on the one side. Although some of them do tend to go off to the sides a little bit. I'm not seeing that right now. They go over there because that's where the water flows the most. You can see them. Zoom in. There they go. You can see their heads and their eyes, and you can see they got little bodies growing now, and their fins are growing. Now, as of today, they got their first meal. And their first meal is these first bites. Tropical, specialized, specialists fish food. It has, it helps with their growth and all that good stuff. And it's a nice little powder. Now, what I do with this, give me just a second while I put the lid back on this tank. And I will walk you through my process, because I already fed them today. So, let's go ahead and sit down here. Alright, so what I do is I take this small little spoon and I go ahead and fill it up with the food. Then I take it and I dump it in the hatchery, okay? Then what I do is I take my special little squeezer thing. I do not know the names of these things, but I have to get more of them. Anyways, I take this and I suck the water up from the tank, from the big tank, and I spray it on top of the food, and I make sure I spray it really good. And that way, the food automatically goes down to the bottom. I know you've seen it all sink down there to the bottom, all of that, those little pieces of stuff. That's all food down there. So I make sure that all sinks to the bottom, and they'll go down to the bottom. They don't like to come to the top of the water to feed, so I make sure to do that. Now, other people do like the fresh brine shrimp and the Daphnia. Some people do frozen Daphnia and frozen fresh brine shrimp. I prefer this for their first bites. The reason being is the nutritional value in it. You could see it's, there's, the fish meal, the wheat flour, krill meal, soybean meal, dried yeast. Yeah, I know it's a lot of, chemicals and stuff like that, and a lot of meal and not actual meats and things like that. But for me, I've noticed feeding this to them that they seem to grow faster than they do with the brine shrimp and so forth. Now, I will be eventually adding the brine shrimp and the Daphnia. I will be using frozen, and I will be adding that to their diet eventually. But for now, I'm just going to keep on this. Now, online it says that you're supposed to feed them 6 to 8 times a day. I do not do that. Why? Because for me, it's just going to muck up the hatchery that I have. So what I do is, like I said, I fill that spoon. I fill this little spoon all the way up, okay? And then I dump it in the hatchery, and I pour the water over, I spray some water over top of it. Now, what that'll do is half of it will sink to the bottom, which is perfect because they can eat it at their leisure. Then what will happen is throughout the day, more of it will sink, and more of it will sink, and more of it will sink, and more of it will sink. So I only actually end up having to feed these guys twice a day. Okay, now, why is that important for me? That's important for me because it's difficult for me to constantly get up every 6 to 8 hours to feed them, but this way they're getting fed throughout the day. I don't need, an automatic feeder. This is the system that works for me. Now, I will be feeding these guys this for about 1 to 2 weeks. Then I will be adding the, frozen brine shrimp and frozen Daphnia. And once I do that, I'll show you guys how I do that, and I'll be adding that to feeding schedule. And then I'll still be using this as well, just not as much. And I'll actually be mixing the two together. And then what'll happen is in about 3 weeks, they'll start eating regular fish food. And of course, I'll do the flakes and I'll, squeeze them and sprinkle them up really hard and tight like I do for the guppies to make sure it's almost like a powder form at first until they get used to eating that. And so in about 4 weeks, they'll be on regular food. They will no longer be eating this or anything else. Although I might still give them a little bit of the Daphnia and the fresh brine shrimp just because of the healthy, nutritional value that is with that. And yes, I am talking a lot, and Yins are sitting here looking at this, which is absolutely fine. But let's go ahead and give Yins one last look at the babies before we close off for tonight. So I always make sure I put the lid back on this as soon as I'm done because I don't want the other fish jumping in here. Now I know, most of these fish don't really jump, but I'm not taking that chance. But as you can see, like I said, you see some of the food sprinkled on top. You see a lot of the food at the bottom. And you see they're all just swimming around. Now let me see if I can get close enough. Let's see. There you go. There you go. Now you can see them really good. It's not the best shot ever, but as for right now, there looks to be about maybe 50 or so in there, but we'll see as they get bigger. I have not lost any recently, and now that they are free swimming, there's less of a chance of me losing any of them. They've gotten to the point where, they've survived the egg stage, they've survived the wiggler stage. They've been able to withstand the temperatures, they've been able to, withstand everything. So me losing any at this point is going to be rare. I might lose maybe 3 or 4, but that's about it. The next wave that will come is when they get bigger and I have to transport them out of here into their own separate tank. As they grow, then I might lose more and more and more depending on how healthy they are and so forth. But as of right now, I do not expect to lose any within the next couple of days. So they seem to be doing pretty good though. There's your update for today, and I want to thank you all for joining me. As always, if you have any questions, go ahead and throw them down there in the comment section, and I will get back to you. And don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and subscribe, so that way you can continue to get updates on these guys and all the other good little fishing fries that will be coming our way soon. Talk to you later. Bye.